Greetings and welcome back to Cowlitz River Restoration. Here's a little before and after of a sleigh bed that I refinished for a client. First, I began by washing the piece thoroughly to make sure that there's no debris on it before I start painting. I began refinishing this piece by priming it with Kills. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I like to use Kills when I'm doing white pieces or light colored pieces to block out stains. And I feel like it really gives the paint something to adhere to. I've been really happy with the durability of it. After the Kills dried, I went ahead and painted all of the trim pieces with a linen white. The client requested that the leaves be painted gold, so I used an artist brush and some gold paint, and I hand painted all the leaves and detailing on the headboard. As it turns out, hand painting leaves is pretty time consuming, so we're gonna be here for a minute. In the meantime, enjoy looking at the back of my head and my fancy hat. After going over all the leaves, I did go back through with an artist brush and touch up with white anywhere that maybe bled over or just needed kind of polishing up. And ta-da! So, how I did this was I wanted to compliment the dresser that I did for this client. So I started off with the coral that I had used before, and then used the other colors that I had mixed to try to create a fade or kind of that ombre effect. I started off with the coral, then went into the light coral, then went into the light lavender, and then went into the lavender, and tried my best to blend those so that there's kind of a gradual fade. And then I put my lighter coral. There's not really a lot of rhyme or reason to it other than trying to have all the brush strokes going the same way and just trying to blend it as best I can and cut in along the sides. I cut in around the trim so that I could still have those white accents the same way that I do with the dresser. By painting them both the same colors, it makes it look like they go together. After the light coral, I went down to the light lavender. I sort of tried to overlap those a little bit to try to blend those colors together. There's not a lot of rhyme or reason to it. There's just a lot of eyeballing and color mixing happens from here on out. Now I'm painting the lavender on the bottom. I'll cut in around the trim and try to blend that in to the lighter lavender. I feel like you can see by the look on my face that I wasn't pleased with it, so I did some dry brushing with the coral and the lavender to really try to marry these colors together, because I wanted there to be kind of a gradual change in colors, but not only just, it didn't have to be gradual so much as it has to be pleasing to the eye. It doesn't necessarily have to match, but it has to go, and I just didn't feel like it went. So here I am doing a lot of dry brushing and trying to blend. Even after I turned the camera off, I still did more dry brushing and blending until I had it exactly where I wanted it. I can say that my second and third attempt at this sunny fade went a lot more smoothly once I really knew what direction I was going in and what steps that I needed to take to get me there. I was sort of winging it at first, but that's kind of how furniture has been for me through my whole career. I go in and I wing it, I find out what works and what doesn't work, and I improve. I've learned that the best way to get good at it is to do it. Once they dried, I went through with an artist brush and I touched up any edges or any places that I may have overlapped the paint where I didn't want it. I want it to be nice and neat and clean. Once that had dried, I went through and I clear waxed the whole thing. I used bare clear wax. I really like the durability that I've had with it, and also I really like the way that it goes on. I use a wax brush to apply it. A thin coat seems to suffice. You don't want to go too thick because then it doesn't want to dry. And it can create some unevenness in the way that your paint looks too. You really want to work that wax in there. This is a pretty big piece here, so we're here for a while. This is my assistant helping me out by shining a light on my work. Of course, I went through and waxed the rails as well. Wax the headboard. Make sure it's all completely sealed. And there's a finished product. Ta-da! Thanks for watching.